Feel the magic under Keely's light. Hook in hand, we're gonna start today. Hook in love will show the way.
Hello, my name's Keely Robertson and I'm from Hooking Love. Today I'm going to show you how to make the Arruga stitch. This is a really lovely textured stitch and would be perfect to use in a blanket or a scarf, for example, as it gives a lovely dense fabric. If you don't already know, I produce new tutorials for different stitches every week, so if you'd like to join me, hit subscribe and follow along. Now this is what we're going to be making this week, and you can see the beautiful texture that the stitch gives us. So follow along, grab your hook, maybe a cup of tea, and let's make this together. For this stitch we were going to need any yarn weight and an appropriate hook size. So I'm using a double knit and a 4mm hook, but you can use whichever yarn weight you'd like. And we are going to chain any multiple of 2. So you can make this as big as you want, as long as you are chaining a multiple of 2. So I will do a little sample size. So I have done 22 for my sample size, but you can see if you were going to be making a blanket or a scarf, for example, you would just keep on going until it was the size that you really wanted it to be. So for our first round, our foundation round, you are skipping the first 3 chains and making a double crochet in the 4th chain. So that's a US double crochet, a UK treble. So you're going to yarn over, go into the chain, draw a loop through. You'll have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over and pull through the next 2. Now we're going to complete this stitch all the way along. So I'll just talk you through that again. And we've got a yarn over, into the chain, draw a loop through. So you should have 3 on the hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. So at this point we have the 3 chains that we started with and we skipped, and then the 2 double crochets that are that we've just made. And we're going to continue this all the way along. So I am going to work my way along now, and I will meet you at the other end. So you take your time, and if you need to pause me as I go to start round 2, then feel free to do so, because it is very likely I will speed this up for you. And here I am now with my last stitch. So you'll see now that we have a lovely row of double crochet, and obviously you can make that as long as you need to for your item that you're considering working it on. So we're going to go on to the second round, but if you have made this before, leave a comment for me please, because from the students that I've spoken to, this isn't a stitch that many people have heard of, so it'd be lovely to know if you've actually made it before. And also, if you haven't made it before, let me know. I would love to know whether the figures sort of stack up with what I get told. So we're going to go on to our second round, and to do that we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to turn. I'm going to work back along the rows that we've done. And in our first stitch, so the one directly underneath the chain, we're going to make a single crochet. So that's a US single crochet, UK double. So we're going to go into stitch, draw a loop up. We're going to have 2 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through both of those loops. Now, this is where our pattern starts properly, if you will. And we are going to be making back post and front post stitches all the way along. And we are going to be using a single crochet stitch to make those back post and front post. So if you haven't done this before, there's a tutorial on how to make a back post and a front post double crochet. So it's the same idea, except we're going to use a single crochet instead. But we're starting for round 2 with a back post. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go behind my stitch and I'm going around the post of the next stitch below, the next double crochet below. So can you see the post of the stitch is behind my hook, so it's a back loop. And I'm going to grab that yarn and I'm going to pull it through, and I'll have 2 loops on the hook, and I'm going to yarn over and pull it through just as I would with a normal stitch. Okay, so we're going to alternate between the back loop and the front loop. So let's do the front loop next. So with our front loop, we go with the hook behind the stitch, so the post is in front, so a front post stitch. Again, grab that yarn and pull it through. This will feel easier. The back one does definitely feel a little bit more clumsy. And then we've got 2 on the hook. We're going to yarn over and pull through both. So that's our first 2 stitches made. You don't really get an idea of this stitch until a few rows have been done. So I'll just explain those 2 again for you. So we've just done a front post. We're going to now do a back post. I'm going to go behind, working from behind. I'm going from behind, I'm going around the post and then back out to the back. So the post is behind the hook. I'm grabbing the yarn, I'm pulling it through, and then I'm going to complete my single crochet. And now I'm onto a front post. So again, I'm going to go from the front, around the post, draw up the yarn, 2 on the hook, and draw through both. Okay, and that's what I'm going to work all the way along. So this is a front post. I'm now going to do a back post, and you are going to just keep alternating that. Now, did you see how that's just slipped straight through? That is one of the dangers. If it happens, don't worry, just start afresh. It's not you, it happens to us all. And I think it can feel quite frustrating if this isn't new for you, but I promise it is worth the effort of continuing with it. It gives a really unique stitch structure. So I'm doing a front post now. See, they are much easier, and then another back post. Let's see if I manage this all in one go. There we go. And a front post. So again, I'm going to probably speed this up for you, but can you see how we're already starting to get a lovely texture on there? But as I say, it doesn't show you the pattern off to its truest potential yet. So I'm going to carry on. My front post was there. I'm going to go and do a back post next, and I will fast forward this and see you at the end. So I have practically come to the end of this row now, and I have got my chain 3 here. So I'm going to make my last stitch in the top of this chain 3. And that's just a standard single crochet in the top of that chain 3. So there we have our first little section, and we're going to go on to row 3 next. Now for row 3, you can either chain 3 and count that as your double crochet, or you can do a standing double crochet. I prefer a standing double crochet, so that's what I'm going to do. If you need a tutorial for a standing double crochet, there is one in my library. If you need me to tag you in it, just let me know and I will find it for you and tag you in it. But I'm doing a standing double crochet, and then this is another row of double crochets all the way along. And that's all that we're doing. Now, I would suggest that if this is the first time you've done it, just try it out with your hook and yarn. Do a little sample size. Don't go to make your full piece of work. Do a little sample size and see if you like the way that it works up and the thickness of it. So you can then choose whether or not you're going to go up or down in your hook sizes, because it does pull in quite tightly when you're doing your front and back loops. So I just think it's worth a mention to try and make sure that you are happy with the work before you complete a larger piece. And then I'm going to the last one. So there's the front of the work. This is the back of the work at the moment. And I have done a full row of double crochets. So I am going to chain one, and we're going to continue with this single crochet front post, back post, front post, back post. So single crochet just into the top of the first one. So we're on row 1, 2, 3, this is 4. Now last time we went behind, didn't we, when we started? So here we went behind the stitch. So this time we're alternating that. So on this round it was back post, front post, back post, front post. You can see the front post sit up and the back post sit back. On this round we're going front post, back post. Okay, so we're doing it in the alternative way. So I'm going to go behind, post from the front, and then make our single crochet, and then go from behind and make our back post, single crochet. So front post, single crochet, and back post, single crochet. I'm going to work all the way to the end. I'll probably speed this up and I'll stop just before we get to the very end. So you take your time, pause the video if you need to. And we're just coming to the last stitch now, and again we're going to go into the top of, now this is the standing double crochet, but it could be a chain 3 if you decided to do a chain 3. So we now have 2 rows. Right, so at this point now what you're going to do is you are going to continue that. So you're going to continue with a row of double crochets, and then on your next row along, so we'll then go into a single crochet and start off with the back post. Okay, so I will work these double crochets, and then when I come to the next round I will just confirm what it is that you're doing. So you are going to be repeating these rows now. So we've done row 1, which was a row of double crochet, row 2, which was a row of single crochets that started with the second stitch being a back post. Row 3 was row of double crochets, and then row 4 was a row of single crochets with the second one again being a front post. So we're doing that alternative. So you're going to then repeat 1 to 4 as many times as you need to make your pattern. Okay, so I will do another row along, and then this is the double crochet row, and then I shall come in just to give you instructions to start off with again for your next row along. Okay, so that's the end of that one. We are chaining 1, we're turning, we are repeating row 2 now. So again we are putting a single crochet in the top of the very first stitch, and then we are going to do a back post single crochet. So we start with back post on row 2, and then we go into a front post and we work that all the way along. So we're repeating row 2. Okay, so we're back to row 3 now, so that's our row of double crochet. So again, I'm doing a standing double crochet, you can do a chain 3. I'm going to repeat that. So we are now repeating row 4. So I'm going to chain 1 and then turn, single crochet in the top, and this time we're starting with the front post single crochet. So I'm going in from the front, taking my hook behind, and then doing the back post. And for row 4, that's what we'll repeat: front and then back. Now, so this is how our work looks. So hopefully you can see this beautiful texture and how each of the front post is offset. It's almost like a brick wall, if you will. And the beauty of this is it's interchangeable. It looks beautiful on both sides. You can see how that completing those front posts and back posts causes it to be quite tight, and it pulls the work in. So it produces such a lovely stitch. And I'm not sure, as I say, whether you would have heard of it before, and I hope you have. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this stitch and it becomes one of your favourites. You can find me at Hooking Love. There'll be a link below, and you can find more tutorials here on YouTube, but you can also find kits and patterns over on my website. Don't forget to subscribe, particularly if you'd like some more calm confidence and crochet in your week.